Bro, there's a wild pig right here. We're gonna go check him out. Oh my god! Where's he at? Oh, he's right there, he's right there. He's over here to the left. Bro, that man's gonna attack us when we're recording this video. Alright, I think we're good. I've seen him around here though before. This isn't the first time I've seen him. Alright, what's up guys? You asked for it, so we're making a video to showcase how stock this car really is. So first things first, you guys have probably seen the video, but we installed these arrow catch hood pins. To start off though, this car started as a totaled car. So I had to rebuild the entire front end basically. I had to get a new front core support, and then we had to get new fenders. Bro,
no clue what she's doing.
What this bitch is doing, honestly. Show this girl. Okay. So yeah, this car started off as a totaled car basically. The whole front end was wiped. Right here you can see some of the damage. It went under a truck. The frame rails are fine. It just went right there. So this all right here got bent and needed a new hood, and yeah, that's about it really. So I have to fix this, but that's really the only damage left. But yeah, it went under a truck, so it was totaled, and then I had to fix it. But as you can see, the engine's completely stock, minus this right here. We just got rid of the secondary air pump, and I know I can get a block-off plate for that, so I'm probably gonna have to do that. Over here, hot air intake. The idea was when I had no hood, under load, it would like be up here and we'd get max airflow, but now that we have a hood, it's just a hot air intake and definitely making less power than what it would with the stock airbox. But we can't do that anymore because we have cut wheel wells. We had to cut the wheel wells because those were also damaged from the crash. But yeah, we also have a eBay aluminum radiator. This thing's been great. They're like $100 on eBay. I would recommend them. My car stays cold. With the eBay 16-inch fan, we have wired up to a relay to a switch in the car. And then we have the factory coolant reservoir. And then we refreshed the coolant pipes right here because this actually popped open on me on an event. But other than that, as you can see, this thing is basically completely stock. As far as engine goes, for the coilovers, we have the max heating rod coilovers. These things have held up very well considering how I drive them. I've had these things on here for a couple years and they're not blown. So that's a good sign that they are holding up. As far as engine mounts go, we have Condor engine mounts, so they're just the solid ones, and then Condor trans mounts. Those are the softer of the two. There's a solid option and then this other option. I have the softer option just for MVH. We also have Condor control arm bushings and Condor diff bushings. So that's all with the bushings as far as Condor goes. These are the Condor extended brake lines. So I have added steering angle. I have E36 control arms and then E34 tie rod ends. So we cut the knuckles, we shortened them, and then we lowered the knuckle and welded it so it corrects Ackerman. So we have good self steer. As far as tires go, we're just running the Federal 595s on the front. These are really good tires. I think they're good for the price, and they're nice and grippy, and they fit in here. And then they're also sitting on 25mm spacers just to prevent rubbing on right here and stuff, so it'll rub on there. So that's basically it for the engine bay wise. And then you come in the car, and here's the steering wheel I have. It's just an NRG steering wheel. I've had this wheel for probably around 5 years now. I've had this wheel forever and it has held up just fine, as you can tell. This is the fake Alcantara. So this holds up a lot better than real Alcantara. So I've touched this thing with grimy hands and it is still okay. And that's just on an NRG wheel hub, the quick release hub, as you can see right here. This is an eBay hub right here. So these are good. I haven't had any issues with that. As far as the shifter goes, we have a click tuning shifter. This is the medium size. I know a couple of you guys had questions on that. And then for my handbrake, this is literally just from a pull-up bar that you can put over your room door. The pull-up bars that you put over your room door and you do pull-ups on, that's where I got it from. And we just self-tap that in place, and it's on the factory handbrake. It works perfectly fine. I just have to adjust it a lot. As you can see, my doors are cut open just for weight. Like, these things are super, super light. Like, very, very light. So the biggest thing as far as performance goes for power wise, because I have a stock engine, we weight reducted the entire car basically. So I'm big on weight reduction as far, oh, we should take all this out. Yeah. So the best thing I've done for this car as far as speed goes, because the engine's stock, is I have gutted the entire rear end of the car. So as you can see, all the sound deadening is out. I cut out any little brackets that I didn't need. Yeah, this thing is completely gutted, so it's really light. So it doesn't take a lot to get this thing sideways. I even went as far as cutting out any extra wires that I didn't need. And over here you can see we loomed whatever wire we had, so there's not a lot of wire, as you can tell. And then back right here you can see loomed up. That's all the wires we have, so we cut out any extra wire that we did not need. All the sound deadening's out. All the sound deadening is out underneath the carpet as well. Behind the dash, everything is taken out, including any extra wires that we did not need and all the AC components. So this thing is really, really light compared to how it came from the factory. That made a huge difference on how this car felt as far as power goes and everything. Really made a huge difference. As far as the exhaust goes, we have an HKS 4-inch muffler, and that is just tied into scrap Corvette mid-pipe. And it just goes into a 2-to-1 to the factory exhaust with factory cats and everything. I'll probably have to get those later on, but I kind of like the car staying pretty quiet. For rear wheels, I just use scrubs, whatever I can find really, any size, because I have multiple wheels, so I don't really have a set tire for the rear. It would be nice to finally get like an actual tire that I just stick with, especially like size and everything, because you guys could see there was some irregularities with the tire size that I was using at the clutch kickers track. In the rear we have, they're just the eBay brand adjustable control arms, and then my buddy Chaz over at NerpTech's R-tabs, so the rear trailing arm bushings, those are the offset for the toe correction. I'll have a link in the description for all these parts. I'll just have like all the companies that are with this car. With those trailing arm bushings, it corrects the toe, because these cars have a lot of toe in from the factory and it kind of toes it out a little bit. As far as the diff goes, I know a lot of you guys have questions about that. It's a 293 welded, so the stock diff that comes in a 328. And the reason I stick with that diff is because I drive to all the drift events and everything, so I don't want to be sitting on limiter on the highway the whole way there. So 293 works for me. It is a little long in some areas with the second gear, but it works. Stock axles, I hope I don't break them soon. I don't know how much longer they're gonna last. I'm on stock subframe bushings, and even the stock clutch is still in the car. The stock clutch, after all those clutch kicks, is still factory clutch. I don't know how that thing's still holding up. Maybe one day we'll have to take that thing out and see what it looks like, but still stock clutch somehow. Stock ZF 5-speed transmission. That thing's perfect with the click tuning shifter. And we just have refreshed a couple things like the fuel filter, the drive shaft center support, the drive shaft jubo, and really that's about it, honestly, that we've done on this car. So as you guys can tell, E36s don't really need a lot of work to go have some fun. There's not a lot of money into this car, and it still drives amazing in my opinion for what it is. I hope she's looking good on camera, guys. We spent a good amount of time detailing her today for this video. Looking to get an E36, I would highly recommend looking for a 328 or M3. So you get the S52 or the M52. This engine's been really good. Nothing wrong with the M50, but the Get Track gearbox, which is in the 325 and then the 323, that transmission's pretty trash. They don't really last very long. The ZF is where you want to go. But if you do end up getting something that's not a 328 or an M3, You can always swap in the ZF transmission and the M3 drive shaft. That's what I would recommend to do if you want to get an E36.
you.